Insider Biz Banking. Get Mountain America credit. See why Mountain America is number one. You may see
Kaplan's afternoon news on KSL News.
Good evening, 6:30 at KSL. It's in Salt Lake City. KSL's top story. We gathered at Utah's Capitol to pay tribute to a fallen Police Sergeant Bill Hoosier's name has now been added to.
Under clear skies on the west steps of the Capitol, loved ones gathered to honor the life and sacrifice of Sergeant Bill Hoosier. This year, his wife Kim delivered a moving tribute. Brought energy and joy to every room and cherished it.
Our next one, welcome to Big Boy Target.
Quiet reverence. Your children, snubs, symbolizing. KSL News Radio.
It's 31. Candlelight vigils being held to a hit-and-run crash earlier this week. The community honored, remembered, Dalton, Gibbs, and the whole. Dalton was hit by a pickup truck while riding his bike home from school. Man in his 80s in custody, but they're still investigating the crash. We're learning more about why several dozen college students had their student visas revoked. All the details and all the details of the official this minute. Washington, D.C. this week is a federal workers and enforcement school. Cases of received school and immediately terminated. Case beforehand. Students have never renewed their visas because they can stay illegally. The system does not believe they were accused of a crime that isn't necessarily. That database included missing persons reached out to our ICE and heard back. It was an immigration crackdown. Today, a federal judge in Texas used a century. President Trump is threatening sanctions on any country that buys Iranian oil. He says any country or person who buys from Iran will not be able to do business with the U.S. The two countries were supposed to meet over the weekend to discuss Iran's nuclear program, but the meeting was postponed. If you commute near the University of Utah, you might want to find an alternate route starting Monday.
University Street and North Campus Drive will be under construction. There will still be access to the medical facilities in the area, but 100 South will be limited to 2 uphill eastbound traffic lanes only. There will be no westbound access. On SLC.gov, Mayor Aaron Mendenhall says improving 100 South will help save lives, support families in crisis, and ensure every resident, healthcare worker, and visitor can reach critical facilities safely and easily. Greg Johnson, KSL News Radio.
A climber in American Fork Canyon was rescued after falling from a rock wall near Little Hill Campground. The climber had to be hoisted out of the canyon by a life flight due to possible back injuries. The climber was taken into a nearby waiting ambulance, carried to the hospital. There's no word on the man's condition. 10 people have already already died in Utah this year in motorcycle crashes. This comes after motorcycle crash deaths reached a 5-year high last year. UHP Lieutenant Cameron Roden tells Utah's Noon News with this warmer weather, it's also on drivers to be extra careful about motorcyclists.
You can't make any assumptions that people see you and that people are watching out for you. You always have to just ride with the assumption that no one can be that defensive driver. That will help you to avoid collisions, but that doesn't relieve other motorists. Their duty to make sure that they're making sure motorcyclists are seen and stay safe.
Roden went on to say motorcyclists who have gone through rider education and safety courses are less likely to be involved in a crash. KSL News Time 6:35. It's time for First Look Traffic. Ricky Meese is here, and things should be easing, right?
In some ways, yeah. We have had a new accident for Utah County drivers northbound I-15, University Parkway in Orem. They're getting it moved to the shoulder. But it's the accident in Davis County that remains really tying up traffic on Highway 89. This is going northbound up near Antelope Drive in Layton. Again, only a right lane of traffic open. Ricky Meese, KSL Traffic Center.
Christmas is coming a lot sooner than you think. Stay here. My Minute of News is on the way. Next.
Experience better business banking. Get Mountain America Credit Union's professional guidance and services. See why Mountain America is #1 at macu.com/business. Loans on approved credit. Membership required based on eligibility. .com/business. Loans on approved credit. Membership required based on eligibility.
You're listening to Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News
On KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM.
and 1116 AM.
Good evening, 6:30 at KSL. Jeff Kaplan here, still 6:06 in Salt Lake City. KSL's top story. Officers from across the state gathered at Utah's Capitol to pay tribute to a fallen hero today. Santa Quinn Police Sergeant Bill Hoosier's name has now been added to the state's law enforcement memorial.
Scouts on the west steps of the Capitol, loved ones, fellow officers, and community members gathered to honor the life and sacrifice of Sergeant Bill Hoosier, who was killed in the line of duty last year. His wife, Kenda, delivered a moving tribute through tears, painting a picture of a man who brought energy and joy to every room, and who cherished being a grandfather above all.
And here next month, we will welcome a new baby boy into our family. I wish Bill was here to enjoy these sweet blessings with us.
With quiet reverence, she mounted his plaque on the memorial wall. Her children then released doves, symbolizing both lost and lasting love. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Hard to believe it's been nearly a year. KSL News Time 6:31. Candlelight vigils being held tonight for a 9-year-old boy who was killed in a hit-and-run crash earlier this week. The community is expected to gather in Pleasant Grove to honor and remember Dalton Gibbs and the walk to the Gibbs family home. Dalton was hit by a pickup truck while riding his bike home from school. Police now have the driver, a man in his 80s, in custody. They're still investigating the circumstances surrounding the crash. We're learning more about why several dozen Utah International College students have student visas revoked. KSL News Radio's Adam Small with details.
A high-ranking Homeland Security official revealed this when he was questioned by a U.S. District Court judge in Washington, D.C. this week. He said federal workers identified students who either had fingerprints in the system or those whose visas had previously expired and immediately terminated the legal status of those students without warning and without even reviewing each individual case beforehand. The two important things to know with this is that some students never renew their visas because they can stay here legally through a different document. But that doesn't necessarily mean they were or were found guilty. In fact, that database includes missing persons.
And we reached out to our local DHS and to ICE for comment, but have not heard back. A blow to the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. Today, a federal judge in Texas said that the president can't use a centuries-old wartime authority to deport gang members without a hearing.
The legal premise underlying the deportations has been the president's determination that the U.S. has been invaded by the Tren de Aragua gang. Brownsville-based federal judge Fernando Rodriguez says dictionary definitions and the historical record show that Trump's interpretation has exceeded the scope of the 1798 law. Rodriguez, who was appointed by President Trump and has been on the bench since 2018, says the White House cannot rely on the Alien Enemies Act to deport alleged members of the gang.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. The administration's asking the U.S. Supreme Court to allow for the possible deportations of hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans who previously been granted temporary permission to be in the U.S. The 350,000 Venezuelans have been allowed to stay in the U.S. under temporary protected status, which was set to expire last month. President Trump is threatening sanctions on any country that buys Iranian oil. He says any country or person who buys from Iran will not be able to do business with the U.S. The two countries were supposed to meet over the weekend to discuss Iran's nuclear program, but the meeting was postponed. If you commute near the University of Utah, you might want to find an alternate route starting Monday.
100 South between University Street and North Campus Drive will be under construction. There will still be access to the medical facilities in the area, but 100 South will be limited to 2 uphill eastbound traffic lanes only. There will be no westbound access. On SLC.gov, Mayor Aaron Mendenhall says improving 100 South will help save lives, support families in crisis, and ensure every resident, healthcare worker, and visitor can reach critical facilities safely and easily. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
A climber in American Fork Canyon was rescued after falling from a rock wall near Little Bill Campground. The climber had to be hoisted out of the canyon by a lifeline due to possible back injuries. The climber was taken into a nearby waiting ambulance, carried to the hospital. There's no word on the man's condition. 10 people have already died in Utah this year in motorcycle crashes. This comes after motorcycle crash deaths reached a 5-year high last year. UHP Lieutenant Cameron Roden tells Utah's New News with this warmer weather, it's also on drivers to be extra careful about motorcyclists.
You can't make any assumptions that people see you and that people are watching out for you. You always have to just ride with the assumption that no one can see you. Be that defensive driver. That will help you to avoid collisions, but that doesn't relieve other motorists of their duty to make sure that motorcyclists are seen and stay safe.
Roden men say motorcyclists who have gone through rider education and safety courses are less likely to be involved in a crash. KSL News Time 6:35. It's time for First Look Traffic. Ricky Meese is here, and things should be easing, right?
In some ways, yeah. We have had a new accident for Utah County drivers northbound I-15, University Parkway in Orem. They're getting it moved to the shoulder. But it's the accident.
Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
It's Wednesday, April 30th. Surprised by his first 100 days? He says you shouldn't be. Start here. President Trump sits down with our own Terry Moran in an Oval Office exclusive.
How to answer those concerns? Well, they did sign up for it, actually, and this is what I campaigned on.
Despite historically low approval ratings, he's planning a mandate for the people. Meanwhile, companies are bringing receipts to customers, and the White House isn't happy.
This is a hostile and political act.
An argument with Amazon and a concession to car makers. And imagine not strapping down something tight enough on the roof of your car. Now imagine that something cost $70 million.
Both the fighter jet and the tow truck are now at the bottom of the Red Sea.
Why enemy fire in the Red Sea is wreaking havoc on the U.S. military. From ABC News, this is Start Here. I'm Brad Moore. They often ask pretty similar sounding questions. Part like you can only track approval numbers going back 80 years. It's the same question for 80 years. Another reason is there are certain questions that translate better to numbers, like do you support the president's policy on since we started measuring it. But our pollsters also asked another question. They asked Americans to describe Trump's 100 days in office so far in one word. Some responded, excellent, strong, savior. Others, who got the majority of Americans that disapprove, used words like disaster, appalling, chaotic. You can feel these sentiments coursing through American politics right now. And how painted the backdrop is ABC's anchor and senior national correspondent Terry Moran was invited into the Oval Office yesterday for an exclusive interview with President Trump. This interview was a long one. It was wide-ranging. We actually posted the entire thing earlier this morning in the Start Here feed. You should definitely listen through that if you want. But here, I'm just going to quickly walk you through some of the most interesting moments.
Mr. President, thank you for doing this. Thank you very much.
The first issue they dug in on was, of course, the issue that's rattled so many people recently, the economy.
There is a lot of concern. People are worried. Some people who voted for you said, I didn't sign up for this. So how do you answer those concerns? Well, they did sign up for it, actually, and this is what I campaigned on. I said that we've been abused by other countries at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We were losing $3 to $5 billion a day on trade. We were losing $1.5 trillion to $2 trillion a year. Not sustainable.
President Trump described a country that has been taken advantage of by other nations for years. Countries that will sell their goods to us but won't buy ours in return, which is why he says he felt the need to install massive tariffs on friend and foe alike. Some of those are some sensitive pause, but there are still massive tariffs being tacked on goods from China.
Well, you said something a couple weeks ago that concerning the tariffs, which economists say are going to raise prices. You said, quote, hang tough. It won't be easy. You said that to American people. Is that what American people expect some hard times? I said that. We won a campaign by a lot. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote by a lot. You know, we had a tremendous campaign. I said all these things during my campaign. I said, you're going to have a transition period. We've been ripped off by every country all over the world. They're laughing at us. They thought we were stupid people, and we were. And I said, that's not going to happen. What hard times are ahead? I don't think so. I think great times are ahead.
Trump has a couple points here. One is that Americans were with him. They had entrusted him through their votes to make these calls. After all, he points out correctly that he talked about tariffs extensively on the campaign trail. But he also promised those same voters lower prices, which he says he's delivered. And unlike many economists, he dismisses the idea that prices will now rise because of these tariffs.
We know business. I want to ask. I do know business.
Yes.
So 145% tariffs on China. And that is basically an embargo.
They deserve it.
It'll raise prices on everything from electronics to clothing to building houses.
You know something. You don't know whether or not China's going to
mathematics.
The president maintains this also had its desired effect of bringing other countries to the table, offering to re-examine their own stances on importing American goods. Companies are offering to build their factories in America to avoid these Chinese tariffs.
So your message to those small businesses who are saying you can't live in 1 to 2 months is tariffs. Apple got a big deal. Is there something for you?
No, Apple. We've got $7 to $8 trillion being invested in our country in 2 months. Biden didn't have that over a year. But if you look at Biden, nobody was really investing in this country. Everybody was really over our country. Apple's putting up $500 billion, but that's only one of many companies. Companies are flooding into our country right now.
So your answer to concern about the tariffs is it's going to be
Had inflation that was and they've never had it.
The other thing Terry questions Trump on again and again was his stance on immigration, specifically deportations, and whether you can send someone away before they've gotten a chance to report their side of the story.
They came from all over the world. We're talking about some of the roughest countries in the world. They had here, including terrorists, by the way. Now, but did we give them a hearing when they came in?
Well, the law requires that every single person who is going to be deported gets a hearing first.
Well, I'll have to ask the lawyers about that. All I can say is this. If you're going to have 21 million people, and we have to get a lot of them out because they're criminals, We're going to have to act fast.
You heard him say, ask my lawyers. President Trump has used that line a lot recently, perhaps because a judge says that his administration might have broken the law when it ignored court orders to return some of those migrants. One of them was Gilmar Abrego Garcia, a Salvadoran national who was wrongly deported due to an administrative error, despite a court order to get him back, but also that it shouldn't. They believe he's a gang member.
This is not an innocent, wonderful gentleman from
I'm
Mount.
not saying he's a good guy. It's about the rule of law. The order from the Supreme Court stands.
Came
sir.
into our country illegally.
You could get him back. There's a phone on this desk. I agree. You could pick it up, and I all the power of the presidency. Call up the president of El Salvador and say, send him back now.
And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that.
But the court has
he's
only
not.
to facilitate that.
I'm not the one making this decision. We have lawyers that don't want to do this.
But the buck stops on his own.
I follow the law. You want me to follow the law? If I were the president that just wanted to do anything, I'd probably keep him right
The
where he
Supreme
is.
Court says what the law is.
This became a central question, to which the president really had two answers. When asked if he would comply with the Supreme Court, he said, of course. But when asked if he would abide by their order that he cannot deport someone, even if he deems them a threat, it was less clear.
For every person that came in illegally, we have thousands of murderers that came in. They're going to murder people. They already have murdered people in our country.
Right, so
we have to get them out.
they're
We have to
bad
get them
guys,
out fast.
really bad guys. But in our country, even bad guys get due process.
If people come into our country illegally, there's a different standard. These are illegal. They came in illegally.
But they get due process.
Well, they get a process where we have to get them out. Yeah.
There were a few other points in here as well. When asked about the war in Ukraine, the president acknowledged that Vladimir Putin might not truly want peace in the region.
After that meeting with Zelensky in St. Peters, he posted this on social media. There was no reason for Putin to be shooting missiles into civilian areas and cities and towns over the last few days. It makes me think that maybe
Well, that was part of a bust, but you're right. That was part of a bust.
it makes me think that maybe he doesn't want to stop the war. He's just tapping the alarm.
Yeah, that's possible.
He might be.
He could be tapping the alarm a little bit. I would say that he would like to stop the war. I think that if it weren't for me, I think he'd want to take over the whole country personally.
And when it came to his defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, who's been under fire for sharing airstrike plans with people without clearance on the app Signal, Trump defended his cabinet member to a point.
You said the other day that you had a talk with the secretary. Did you take him to the woodshed?
I had a talk with him, and whatever I said, I probably wouldn't be inclined to tell you. But we had a good talk. He's a talented guy.
At one point, Terry asks the commander-in-chief if he has 100% confidence in Hegseth.
I think he's going to be a very good defense, hopefully a great defense secretary. He'll be a very good defense secretary.
You have 100% confidence in.
I don't have to have 100% confidence in anything. Okay, anything. Do I have 100%? It's a stupid question. Look,
It's pretty important.
I have no. You don't have 100%. Only a liar would say I have 100% confidence. I don't have 100% confidence that we're going to finish this interview.
We will.
Let's go.
They did get through the interview, though. The president discussed DOGE, the specter of government fraud that critics say is way overblown, the president's recommendation that Americans get the measles vaccine, and Terry ended by asking Trump about presidential power.
What do you say to people who are concerned, who are seizing too much power and becoming an authoritarian president like we have in Africa?
No, I would hate them to think that. I'm doing one thing. I'm making America great again. We have a country that was failing. We have a country that was left out all over the world. We had a leader that was grossly incompetent. He should have never been there. The election was rigged. He should have never been there. Our country suffered greatly, and now our country's coming back like nobody can believe. I have editorials just today where they're saying they've never seen anything like it. They love it. Our country's coming back, and we're respected again.
Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry, very much.
Okay, so those are the highlights. If you want to listen to the whole thing, which I highly recommend, just scroll down in the Start Here feed this morning. It's right there for you. When we come back, the president's not the only one allowed to comment on his tariffs, or is he? A tussle with Amazon after the break. This show is supported by Avocado Green Mattress. Making a morning show means you don't always get the amount of sleep that you'd like. There's a lot of napping involved. Sometimes people wake you up from those naps because there's breaking news. Rude. But it's taught me that the sleep I do get needs to be high quality and comfortable. That's why you should check out Avocado. Avocado makes certified organic mattresses that are designed to provide exceptional comfort and support. They promote better sleep through natural, temperature-regulating materials. You see, organic materials sleep naturally cooler than synthetic alternatives, which means less sweating in your sleep during the summer. And you can rest easy knowing that Avocado adheres to the highest standards of safety and sustainability, meaning they're made with materials that are good for you and for the planet. They're designed to last, so your perfect mattress won't end up in the landfill. Tonight's the night to start sleeping easier. Shop now at avocadomattress.com and save 10% on certified organic mattresses. Dream of better. This show is supported by Policy Genius. When you have a dream for your family's future, you need to protect it. That's why Policy Genius makes it easy to find and purchase life insurance. Policy Genius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. It allows you to compare quotes from America's top insurers side by side for free with no hidden fees. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options are 100% online and let you avoid unnecessary medical exams. The licensed support team is always there to answer questions, handle paperwork, and advocate for you throughout the process. Join thousands of happy Policy Genius customers who left 5-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google. Secure your families tomorrow so you have peace of mind today. Head to PolicyGenius.com to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's PolicyGenius.com. Now, you heard how central the economy is to Trump's message there. He's presented himself as a pro-business president devoted to keeping prices lower, and yesterday it was clear how central his tariffs have become to businesses and consumers alike. So with that, let's go to ABC's Zunera Zaki. She covers economics. Zunera, the president visited Michigan yesterday to talk about a new executive order that kind of, I guess, scales down tariffs on car manufacturers. What's going on here?
The president is softening his stance on tariffs, and he took another step in that direction by allowing auto companies to get a little bit of an exemption from tariffs.
They all want to come back to Michigan and build cars.
Oh, played it. Episode 101.
Woo!
Dalmatians.
Yes.
Who's Dalmatians?
Damn, you got there fast.
We have Billy, you can't tell anyone I said this, but I texted it to Lauren last night, and then I told my girlfriend it on the plane. Billy's my favorite person to have on Playdate.
I'm honored.
And then
I have so much fun on here every
I
time.
disliked it and then went on his phone and unsent it. So, do with that what you will.
I have so much to prove now. I'm gonna change your
that's
mind, Willie. You just wait.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm just kidding. I love having you on, Billy.
Thanks, man. I love
And
it.
for episode 101, it feels special.
To kick off the new century.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's a new
what do
era.
we do now for the...
I think we start over. So it's
Why?
someone who wore number 1, or someone who's 1 year old.
Wait, what do you mean we start over?
So we do like on episode 97, we guessed someone who's either 97 years old or wore the number 97 as an athlete.
Okay.
So someone who wore number 1,
or is one.
Bill.
It's like a really high-profile baby.
And I
right
have to
now?
give you a name. You have to guess who it is.
No, we just have to think of one point.
Oh, okay. That sounds cool.
What is that? I thought you were going to guess who it is.
I thought I was gonna give you a name, and there.
By the Democrats' secret weapon. He's an Afghan war veteran and the former Secretary of Transportation. He's also one of the first gay men to run president. And today, he's here to explain how he kept the planes in the sky, how billionaires legally dodged taxes, why Trump's new tariffs could be hurting America, what he ate in Afghanistan that made him gay, and most importantly, why every Republican National Convention, Grindr is on fire. Give it up for Pete Buttigieg.
Welcome back to the Basement Yard, our 500th episode.
That's 10. It's double 5. A 5 for me, a 5 for you. So 5 over here, 5 over here. That should be. Or you do 500. So this. Correct. Yes. Okay.
For the audio listeners, you have no idea what's going on. But
No,
that's
no,
what
no.
we're
It's our 500th episode.
Also, for the audio listeners, you can't see this.
Yeah, there's big eyes.
But Frankie's dream has come to fruition. We have two big fat
I don't
beer
know if
towers.
I don't know if it's my dream.
This thing's coming out like piss.
Yeah, look. I mean, this is a. I think this also speaks to the level of hydration that we both regularly keep. Where yours looks a lot more healthy, and mine looks like I am about to die.
Did we run these through like a dishwasher or something?
Oh, I mean, it's beer. It's alcohol. It sanitizes things.
It's beer. Beer Towers 500th episode.
500. Cheers to us.
Me dink me, throw it in my stink pee. Wow. Oh man. Michelob Ultra. That's what you bought. I feel like I'm on a golf course right now. Frank's not drinking Michelob Ultra, but I made myself a vodka diet.
Yeah. So
A vodka diet.
That sounds miserable. Right before we started recording, we noticed Ant was really sheepishly quiet in the corner over there.
Yeah.
And then I just hear the ice clinking in the glass as he's walking over, and it was clear he couldn't not be involved in the celebration.
I had to drink.
Right. Had to drink, and you made yourself a vodka and Diet Coke. That sucks on so many levels.
You really are 21, aren't you? No, so am I though.
500 episodes. 500 episodes.
500 episodes.
That's banana.
That is banana.
This is what I joined in 200 area.
50 something. Oh, don't puke.
I don't think.
You think we're gonna finish this whole tower?
I do. This is gonna be the messiest episode we've ever.
You're listening to The Strata, a Beyond the Dark production. Season 1, The End of Rust. Part 1.
There's two of them following me. I know that for sure. As far as thugs go, they're not terrible at what they do, but they're not as smart as they think they are either. One of them drags his right foot when he walks, and I hear it echo down the alley clear as day. The other has a slight whistle when she breathes. Sounds to me like one of those augments designed to filter out pollution. Not the most obvious giveaways, I'll admit. A cut above the usual scumbags I run into. And in the early days, it's the kind of thing I might have missed. But now, with decades of experience behind me, it's just too easy. I decide to make the first move. Get this over with.
Okay, you two. Game's up. Get the hell out of here before I have to come back there and beat the living crap out of you.
Hand over the package and we'll let you go.
You'll let me go? Oh, that's cute.
Come on, old man. Don't make this hard on yourself.
Old man? Really?
We don't have all day.
Put the package on the ground and walk away.
Why don't you come and take it instead?
No one needs to get hurt. Just put it down.
It's a generous offer, but how about no?
Last chance, old man. Do yourself a favor.
Okay, I think this has gone far enough. The first bullet hits me in the chest, sends me staggering back a step. The next one cannons into my side, drops me to my knees. What the hell? Most thugs pack rounds that bounce off my skin or, at worst, cause a little tearing. But these are full penetration. Serious shit. I don't know what pisses me off more. The fact that they're using such high-grade ordnance, or the thought of the repair bill once this is over. All right, you assholes.
Shoot straight, will ya?
Shit, look out!
Let's go! Move!
Yeah, run. That's it. And spread the word. Don't mess with Rust. Ever. Anyone who tries is gonna...
Here's your damn package. Now what's the deal?
Wow, good morning to you too, Russ. Nice to see you.
Save it, Sienna. I want to know what's going on here.
Slow down, pal. I'm not following. Tell me what happened.
I just got jumped by some thugs. They were trying to take the package.
Outside my place?
No. Long way from here. Over by the harbor.
Well, that's like, what, 3 times this month they've hit you?
Haven't been keeping score.
That's what you get, hanging around a dive like Dockerton.
The pickup was in Dockerton. Not like I had a choice.
Ah, good point.
But those other ambushes, they were small-time punks. Mosquitoes. Not like these. Serious hombres.
Desperate times, pal. These lowlifes see a guy with a package, they shoot first and ask questions later. Probably just hoping for a lucky score.
You'd tell me if you knew something, right?
Rust?
Because these two came after me for a reason. It wasn't a coincidence. If I find out you're smuggling something high-grade in my deliveries...
Here. Look. Satisfied?
What is it?
A genuine old-school thermal rectifier. No hidden trank, no tricks.
What does it do?
It's a part used in a fabricator. Very specific application. Not the kind of thing street thugs would be interested in.
Black market?
I wouldn't be using you if I could pick this up at the corner store for the same price, Rust. Of course, black market. But nothing dangerous. It's just cheaper this way.
Yeah. Okay.
Still the best courier this side of the Deadlands, Russ. Appreciate you getting it here so fast.
Think you can sell it?
I already got a buyer here in Midtown. I'd take even more if you could get them.
So business is good?
Black market stuff? Sure. My legit wares? That's tougher.
Is it too much for me to ask for payment straight up?
Yeah, okay. You got cash flow problems, Rust?
Kinda. Plus, I think I'm going to need some of your services.
The way you limped in here, I'm surprised it took you this long to ask. You want me to take it out of your end of the delivery?
Yeah. As long as there's enough to cover it.
Come on through. I'll take a look. Lay down here. And just let me peel this back and... Holy shit! Rust! What have you been doing out there?
They got me a nice one.
A nice one? They shredded you. It's right through your exoskeleton.
I told you they were serious.
For a guy whose body is 93% alloy,
92.
you sure get beat up a lot. What were they using?
I don't know. Packing some serious heat. Maybe those new frag tips.
Here, let me dig around and see if I can... Yeah, here we go. It's not a frag tip, I don't think. Something just as nasty.
Just pull it out, will you?
Okay. Easy. Let me just... Here. Got it. Here's the second one. Shoot up her chest plate real good.
Can you patch it?
Lie still for a second.
That tickles. What are you putting in there?
Stop wiggling, huh? There. That's it. Just don't do anything too strenuous, okay? Take it easy, or you might...
Might what?